You've probably heard the word heaven before. Maybe since childhood, maybe as a distant idea, a final destination, a peaceful place where souls go to rest. But here's what almost nobody ever told you. There isn't just one heaven, and yes, you heard that right. There are three completely different spiritual realities. 3 layers that exist at the same time. While you're living your normal life, unaware that every single breath you take may be influencing which one you're moving toward. And before you brush this off as just another religious concept, here's the part almost no one has the courage to say out loud. You've already felt the influence of these 3 heavens. You just didn't realize it. This is where the story starts getting unsettling. And this is exactly where most people click away. But if you leave now, you'll spend the rest of your life with that quiet feeling that you missed something you were supposed to know. Because everything you believe about spirituality, destiny, purpose, protection, suffering, all of it is connected to these 3 invisible levels. And once you see it, it becomes impossible to go back to ignorance. Most people think the first heaven is just the blue sky above us. But the first heaven isn't a place. It's a field of influence. It's where your thoughts get nudged, where ideas appear out of nowhere, where temptations show up without explanation, where your mood shifts for no clear reason at all. It's a spiritual environment that reacts to what you feel, what you fear, what you desire. Now, here's the hook that's about to flip everything upside down. There's something watching you from the first heaven. Always. It's not an angel. It's not a demon. It's older than both of those categories. Something that senses your inclinations before you even realize you're leading. Something that applies pressure toward paths that feel like your own choices, but aren't. And here's the most disturbing part. It only acts when you're not aware of it. The moment you become aware, it disappears. But that's just the first heaven. The second. The second heaven. This is the level very few people dare to study. Not because it's forbidden, but because it changes anyone who truly understands it. This is the realm of battles you don't see, but absolutely feel. Those nights when you can't sleep. That pressure in your chest with no medical explanation. That heavy atmosphere you sense when you walk into certain places. The second heaven is the battlefield where forces contend for you. And strangely enough, the fight isn't over your body. It's over your perception, over what you accept as truth, over what slowly starts to feel normal. Now, take a breath, because the third heaven is what makes all of this worth it. Almost no one can imagine the third heaven for what it truly is. It's not a kingdom of clouds. It's not an endless choir. It's not rest. It's full awareness. It's the place where everything finally makes sense, where every decision in your life connects like pieces of a puzzle you were never able to assemble, where what you thought was punishment was actually protection, where what you thought was delay was a detour from something far worse. And now comes the part that makes this video explode. You've already had a glimpse of the third heaven. Even if you didn't recognize it, that sudden wave of peace that lasted only seconds. That intuition. That saved you. That certainty that came from nowhere. That tear that fell without sadness. That wasn't psychological. That was leakage. Leakage from the third heaven into your reality. And if you think all of this is symbolic, let me ask you something simple. Why are you hearing this right now? Why did this message land in your hands at this exact moment? Why do you feel that strange tension in your chest as you listen? The answer is simpler and deeper than it sounds. Something in the first heaven tried to stop you from hearing this. Something in the second heaven went quiet so you could listen. And the third heaven decided it was time for you to know. The moment you understand these 3 levels, everything changes. Your perception changes. Your sensitivity changes. Your purpose changes. And that's why you're here. The truth is, people don't spend their lives searching for God. They spend their lives running from questions like this. Why am I being called to hear this now? The answer? That's exactly what you're about to discover in the next few minutes. If you have the courage to keep watching. The truth is, the more you understand these three heavens, the more you begin to notice something that was always there. Something you never had the courage to admit. You are not living just a physical life. You are living a watched life. And here's the detail no one likes to hear. You are not the main character of your own story. At least not in the way you think, because while you believe you're walking alone, forces you can't see are contesting every small turn, every thought, every intention. And this isn't metaphor. This is spiritual structure. You know, that feeling. That something is off even when everything seems fine. That invisible discomfort when you're alone in your room. That intuition that someone or something is present even in silence. That's the first heaven nudging you, trying to pull your attention towards something it shouldn't, trying to plant an idea that didn't originate in you. And now let me tell you something that will turn your mind inside out. Not every thought you have is yours. If you slow down, not with panic, but with honesty, you'll notice that many thoughts simply appear. No cause, no logic, no context. It's because the first heaven isn't distant. It's an environment that blends into your mind. Your emotions, your impulses. It's where the battle always begins. Quiet, subtle, disguised as it's just a thought. But if the first heaven influences, the second manipulates. The second heaven is where things become truly dangerous. Because it doesn't try to change what you think. It tries to change what you believe. And here's the hook that keeps people watching. You've already been attacked by the second heaven without knowing it. Yes, you. Not once, not twice. Dozens of times. Maybe hundreds. Every time you almost gave up on something important. Every time discouragement hit you out of nowhere. Every time you felt stuck, like something was holding you back. Every time everything started going wrong at the same time, with no logical reason. That wasn't bad luck. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't negative energy. That was spiritual warfare disguised as normal life. And the reason you never noticed is because the second heaven operates in shadows. It doesn't want to be seen. It wants you to believe it's all psychological. That you're just tired, just stressed, just in a mood. Because the moment you recognize it, it loses power. But while the first and second heavens pressure, the third heaven awakens. And here comes one of the most difficult truths in this entire script. One very few people are ready to process. The third heaven doesn't speak to everyone, not because it doesn't want to, but because not everyone can handle hearing it. The third heaven manifests only when something inside you is ready. Not when you feel ready, not when you decide, but when something in the unseen decides it's time for you to see. And this may be the most unsettling part. You didn't choose to hear this. You were brought to it. Think about it. This video didn't appear to you by accident. This content didn't land in your feed because of an algorithm. You didn't just click. You were pulled. That's how the third heaven calls. Quiet, strange, uncomfortable. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It touches. It arranges coincidences. It moves small pieces. It crosses paths. And when you realize what's happening, you're already trapped by the question that changes everything. Why me? That's the question thousands spend their lives avoiding. But you were forced to face it. But stay with me. Because what comes next is even heavier. If there are three heavens above, there are three hells below. And the connection between them is far more direct than you imagine. And guess what? You've already felt echoes of those hells too. Maybe you don't want to admit it. Maybe you're afraid of what you'll uncover. But now that the door is open, there's no going back. And in the next part, you're going to understand the one truth that terrifies scholars, theologians, rabbis, occultists, and researchers of the unseen alike. You are not living between two worlds. The two worlds are living inside you. Asterisk, most people spend their lives believing they live somewhere in between heaven and hell, as if they were two distant extremes fighting to claim you at the end. That idea is the greatest illusion you were ever taught. The truth, the kind of truth no one likes to face, is that you're not between them. You are the border. The three heavens connect inside you, and the three hells try to create fractures inside you. And before we go any further, understand this. From this point on, you will never look at your own emotions the same way again. Because once you understand the three heavens, something strange becomes clear. The world is not divided between light and darkness. It's divided between awareness and distraction. And it's inside distraction that the three hells operate. The first hell isn't down below. It's close. Much closer than you think. It's the hell of distraction, impulse, emotional addiction. And it doesn't appear as fire. It appears as anxiety, confusion, that sudden urge to give up on what you know is right. The first hell doesn't try to destroy you. It tries to make you waste your life. And here's the hook that freezes people in place. You've already felt this hell. Yesterday, today, maybe minutes before you pressed play. That feeling that nothing matters, that urge to escape everything, that emptiness that shows up out of nowhere, that heavy energy that makes you drop things that matter. That's not personality, that's influence. Because just as the first heaven whispers ideas, the first hell whispers quitting. Now, if the first hell confuses, the second hell erodes. This is the level that attacks identity. It doesn't want to knock you down. It wants to rebuild you incorrectly. It wants to shape your perception until you believe you were born broken. Until you're convinced you don't deserve anything. Until you become your own executioner. Those self-destructive thoughts that show up without reason. That feeling that you're a burden to everyone. That certainty that people tolerate you but don't love you. That didn't come from you. That was whispered. The second hell works with invisible scars. It doesn't want you to suffer. It wants you to accept suffering as normal. And here's the terrifying part. Many people live their entire lives inside the second hell and think it's just who they are. But the third hell is completely different. The third hell doesn't want to destroy you. It wants you to destroy others. It's the hell of corrupted soul, where a person loses the ability to see evil as evil, where pleasure comes from control, manipulation, power over others. The suffering they cause. It's the hell where conscience shuts down, where the self dissolves, where the soul becomes an empty echo. And here's a revelation very few can handle. The third hell tries to reach you through the second, and the second tries to reach you through the first. They feed off each other. And the deeper you fall into one, the easier it becomes to fall into the next. And this is the part most people never understand. The three heavens work the same way. The first heaven awakens you. The second heaven shapes you. The third heaven transforms you. And now you're about to understand the part of the story that changes everything. The part that makes people go silent, chills running through their bodies. The part that makes this video go viral. The war between the three heavens and the three hells is happening inside you. Not around you. Inside. And if you look at your life honestly, not with excuses, not with speed, but with truth, you'll realize that everything you've lived so far has been marked by this silent battle. The day you almost lost yourself. The day you almost gave up. The day you almost did something that would have destroyed you. And the day something stopped you at the very last second. That wasn't luck. That was interference, movement, a dispute over you. You never noticed because you believed these forces were out there, fighting each other. But everything was always happening inside you. And what comes next is even deeper and much harder to ignore. Depending on what you feed within yourself, a heaven wins or a hell wins. And that choice defines the entire life you still haven't lived. And the next part, you're going to learn how to recognize which heaven is speaking to you and which hell is trying to silence you. Even now, while you're watching this asterisk by now, you understand that there are 3 heavens. But what almost no one realizes is that these heavens are not places. They are states of reality, levels of perception, dimensions that exist at the same time and move closer to you in different ways. And now, for the first time in your life, you're about to see what each heaven actually wants from you. Because each one doesn't just exist. They observe you. And the more you understand this, the more you begin to realize something unsettling. The spiritual world was never up there. It was always here. Crossing through your life, entering through the spaces you leave open. The first heaven, the heaven that touches your Mendithi. First heaven is the level closest to earth. It's the heaven of influence, not the heaven of clouds, but the heaven where thoughts are formed before they become conscious. It's like a spiritual wind that moves through you without asking permission. And here's the hook that makes people freeze on this video. The first heaven speaks to you every single day. You just never noticed, because it doesn't use words. It uses impressions. Sudden feeling. Don't do this right now. Take this path instead. Reach out to that person. Wait a little longer. This isn't for you. Something feels off. That's how the first heaven works. It doesn't push you. It whispers. And if you think about it carefully, you've already been saved by this heaven without even realizing it. The time you didn't take that road, and later found out there was an accident. The person you chose not to trust, and later discovered they were false. The small decision that ended up changing your entire life, that was the first heaven. The heaven of intuition. The heaven of primary spiritual perception. But there's a detail most people miss. The first heaven isn't neutral. It watches you to understand what you're capable of perceiving. The more attentive you are, the stronger it speaks. The more distracted you live, the quieter it becomes. And the truth is, the first heaven already tried to tell you things you ignored. And that had consequences. You know this. Deep down, you know. The second heaven, the heaven of invisible air, the down, you know. First heaven touches your mind. The second heaven touches your soul. This is the level where everything you don't see takes place. Where battles are fought, where requests are accelerated or blocked, where forces clash over things you haven't even asked for yet. The second heaven is where your spiritual decisions gain weight. And where everything that tempts you watches you. But here's what very few people are willing to admit. The second heaven knows your shadows better than you do. It knows where you fall. It knows what wounds you. It knows what weakens you. It knows what attracts you. That's why sometimes it feels like you're being tested. Like everything is happening at once. Like life suddenly pressed a button labeled intensity. Because the second heaven uses pressure to reveal who you really are. And here's the viral hook. Everything that deeply hurt you in life passed through the second heaven before reaching you. Nothing arrived without permission. Nothing was random. And before you think that's unfair, remember this. The second heaven doesn't exist to destroy you. It exists to prepare you. What happens there shapes your resilience, your faith, your perception, your purpose. And more than that, the things you call delays aren't delays. They're blocks created in the second heaven to protect you from paths that would have destroyed you. You never know what was avoided. Only the second heaven knows. The third heaven, the heaven of full awareness. This is the level no one ever describes correctly, because there is no human language for something that doesn't fit inside the human mind. The third heaven isn't just the kingdom of God. It's the place where everything makes sense, where your soul exists without noise, where your awareness sees the entire picture, where the questions that once tortured you disappear, because you finally understand why. Pain, delay, mistakes, loss, fear, None of these exist there, not because they vanish, but because they finally fit. And here comes the revelation that shakes people. The third heaven has already tried to reach you, more than once, and you felt it. Yes, you felt fragments of this level. That sudden peace when it made no sense to feel peace. That strength that appeared when you had nothing left. That courage that rose at the exact moment you thought you would collapse. That spiritual certainty that arrived without logic. That wasn't psychological. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't motivation. That was leakage. A leakage from the third heaven into your reality. And maybe the strongest part of all is this. The third heaven isn't waiting for you to die to reach you. It's trying to transform you while you're alive. It wants to change your perspective, your vision, your identity, your destiny. But the third heaven only speaks to those willing to listen. And the clearest proof that it's trying to speak to you is the simple fact that you're hearing this right now, because nothing, absolutely nothing, brought you here by accident. Asterisk asterisk if you've noticed. The three heavens aren't above CREADIO, and if you've noticed, the three heavens aren't just layers above creation. They are layers inside you. And now, let's continue uncovering something almost no one truly understands. Each heaven tries to approach you in a different way. And each approach completely changes who you become. But you've never noticed it consciously, because the contact is always subtle. Until it isn't. The first heaven, the heaven that moves the world around you. First heaven doesn't work inside you. It works around you. It's the heaven of environment, the heaven of circumstances, the heaven of signs too small to call miracles, but too precise to call coincidence. Have you ever noticed how sometimes everything seems to conspire in the same direction? To make you go, or to make you stop. It doesn't matter whether you believe in destiny or not. The first heaven acts independently of your opinion. And here's the mystery. The first heaven aligns people, opportunities, encounters, and coincidences. It opens doors you think you discovered. It closes doors you think you lost. It moves pieces while you believe you're just living your routine. But the most unsettling part is this. The first heaven corrects your path when you don't realize you're lost. And when you insist on the wrong path, it starts sending signals. Restlessness, doubt, that strange pressure in your chest, that inner sense of don't go, that unexplained hesitation. The first heaven doesn't block you. It warns you. The question is, do you listen? The second heaven, the heaven that tests who you really are. If the first heaven moves the world around you, the second heaven moves your spiritual structure. The second heaven is a place of examination, not of your actions, but of your weaknesses. It studies where you're vulnerable. It knows your emotional patterns. It understands your triggers. It recognizes your fears better than you do. And when the moment comes, it activates a structural spiritual storm. Nothing seems to change on the outside, but everything collapses on the inside. And this is the clearest sign that the second heaven has touched you. When your external life looks normal, but your soul feels like it's at war, that is never emotional, never random, never just exhaustion. It's the second heaven exposing something you hide even from yourself, because you will never change what you don't recognize. You will never overcome what you refuse to admit. You will never heal what you lie to yourself about. The second heaven doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. And revelation sometimes hurts more than battle. The third heaven, the heaven that tries to wake you. The third heaven doesn't arrive through environment like the first. And it doesn't arrive through pressure like the second. It arrives through awareness. It arrives when, in the middle of everything, you experience an awakening. And I'm not talking about an, oh, I get it. I'm talking about that moment when your soul feels like it steps outside of you and observes your own life from the outside. That moment when you feel like you woke up, like something clicked, like you finally saw. That awakening doesn't come from the brain. It comes from above. The third heaven doesn't speak in words. It speaks in revelation, in clarity, in spiritual understanding. And when it touches you, everything makes sense for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That changed your entire life. But here's the deepest detail so far. The third heaven doesn't visit you to comfort you. It visits you to reposition you. It doesn't appear when you're ready. It appears when you're broken enough to realize you need realignment. The third heaven is the only one that sees who you truly are, not who you show, not who you try to be, not who others expect you to be, but who you were created to be. And that's why it doesn't give up on you, even when you think everyone else has, even when you feel God is distant, even when you believe you failed too much. The third heaven doesn't look at your failures. It looks at your origin. And your origin did not come from earth. Asterisk. But there is something even deeper about the three. Heaven. This is what changes everything. The three heavens don't act independently. They form a spiritual spiral around you. The first moves the details. The second reshapes your structure. The third redirects your destiny. And all three work simultaneously to move you toward a place you would never choose on your own. But deep down you always knew was right. And here's the hook that freezes people on the video. The three heavens come to you before you ever go to them. And when that happens, your life never returns to normal.